As you may know, VXR as we know it is dead, well, for the time being, but it's safe to say it went out with a bang because it released the Vauxhall VXR8 GTS-R. Right, time to fire up this engine, which I'm not too sure will be quite as loud as my Christmas jumper. Do you like it, guys? No, you probably don't, do you? Never mind. Right, onto the car. So, let's unleash the power of this 6.2 supercharged petrol engine. You ready, guys? Oh, God, that sounds good. Oh, sounds naughty. This would definitely be on Santa's naughty list. Oh, God, it sounds so good. Oh, and as you can imagine, the performance is not what you would call slow. So this 6.2 litre engine produces 595 horsepower with 714 newton meters of torque. This power is made to the rear wheels, of course, via a 6-speed manual gearbox, which has got a lovely change to it. It snicks into place very nicely and it feels pretty mechanical, I must say. It will crack 60 miles per hour in just 4.2 seconds and will continue to a limited top speed of 155 miles per hour. And I'm pretty sure you don't need me to tell you, it's pretty goddamn fast. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's the fastest Vauxhall that has ever been made.
Fastest Vauxhall ever? What about the Lotus Carlton? Yes, the Carlton will max out at 176 whilst the VXR8 has to make do with 155, but don't forget it's electronically limited. Without it, you'll be able to get this 4-door saloon to a top speed of around 200 miles per hour. It's also worth noting that the VXR8 will get to 60 a full second faster than its 6-cylinder powered grandfather. Only 15 VXR8 GTS-R models made their way to the UK, and no, that isn't 50, that is just 15. So not only is it the fastest Vauxhall to date, but it's also one of the rarest.
And probably the most expensive, because when this car was on sale, because you can't buy this car anymore, it was £74,500 for a Vauxhall. That is crazy money, but this car is crazy fast. Now, I imagine that some of you watching will say, well, you could go out and buy an M4 or an RS5 or a C63, and you could. You know what I mean. And I wouldn't argue against you for picking those cars, but there's a certain something about this VXR8 GTS-R. It feels a little bit uncouth, and I kind of like that. You get an impression that it would turn up to a dinner party in a vest and cut off shorts. It just feels, I would say uncivilized. I think that would be unfair, but it just feels a little bit raucous. It feels like it just wants to spark up animosity. Oh, God, yes.
Let me explain just what it is you get for that hefty price tag. Well, for starters, you get that thunderous 6.2 litre engine. You also get features such as beefed up exterior styling, a carbon fibre rear spoiler, 20-inch alloys, 8-inch touchscreen, selectable driving modes, keyless entry, dual zone climate control, sport seats, heated front seats, which are also 8-way electronically adjustable, a steering wheel and gear lever wrapped in Alcantara, head-up display, navigation which has got quite a dated display, front and rear parking sensors with a reversing camera, and a Bose sound system with 9 speakers.
I'll be honest, I can't really stretch its legs properly out here because I am in the town centre of Luton, and you're probably thinking, Well, that's not a very good location. Well, that's because I've borrowed this car from Vauxhall's Heritage Centre. It seems weird saying heritage because this car is only a year old. However, this car isn't on sale anymore. It had a very short life on the UK market, and therefore it has been retired to Vauxhall's Heritage fleet, and their Heritage fleet is based in Luton. So yes, I'm afraid I haven't got the most glamorous location in which to film this video. I'm literally about to drive past a retail park. It is what it is. The thing is, you know, some of you may bitch and moan and say, oh my, you should have picked a nicer location. But when you get a chance to drive a car like this, frankly, I would drive it in a car park if I had to, because it's not often you get a chance to drive a car like this. And already I'm really enjoying it. Now, the performance comes in pretty quickly. The power delivery, because it's supercharged, is very linear. It's instant. It's just like turning on a tap. The 6-speed manual gearbox has a wonderful change to it, and this car feels like an old school driver's car. Whereas you've got cars like the RS5 or the C63 I mentioned, they are automatic only, and they feel modern, refined and civilised. But yet the Vauxhall, no, 6-speed manual gearbox, and you know what? That suits me down to the ground. Now, I mentioned earlier about this car being raucous and a little bit uncouth. However, when you want to settle down to a cruise, you can do that. Okay, there's a fair amount of tyre noise coming in here, but this does of course have big alloys, and it wasn't built to be quiet. Come on, just look at it. It's bright bloody green, for God's sake. However, if you want to settle down, you can do so. Apart from the tyre noise, well, I was going to say it's quiet in here. It's not quite quiet. However, I do feel like I could talk to you at a lower tone and you could still hear me fine. However, this road is national speed limit. Oh. Now, sadly, I do have a bit of traffic. There's nothing I can do about that, guys. So if you want to bash that keyboard and give me some hate, fine, whatever. I don't care, because I'm having too much fun to care. However, down here at relatively low speeds, I can already tell how capable this car is. The ride's pretty good as well. Now, you've got different driving modes, so you've got sport, performance and track. So I've got it in performance at the moment, and it makes everything a little bit taller. The exhaust sounds even better, and it just makes this car a bit of a beast. It's kind of like the Hulk. If Bruce Banner had a company car, I'm pretty sure he would have a look at one of these, because this car is similar to the Hulk. As I mentioned a few moments ago, you can drive it sedately if you wish to, but if you get a little bit angry, then the car can be absolutely transformed. I can feel my clothes starting to shred as I turn into the beast. Oh, it's not working, is it? Now let's talk about the handling. Well, the handling is pretty good. Well, very good in fact. The steering weight has got a lovely weight to it. It's direct. I almost knocked my passenger out of her seat. Actually, let's talk about the seats. The seats are very comfortable. They are leather and Alcantara, and they are a very nice place in which to park my bottom. Yes, these seats are comfortable, they're supportive, and I like their material. It's quite grippy. I'm not sliding about in my seat when I'm going through corners. I do feel like I'm sat a little bit too high, so can that be adjusted? Oh, there we go. Oh yes, that's much better. There we are. I feel like I'm in maximum attack mode now, like a fighter jet. Whoa. Ready for takeoff.
In the corners, the VXR8 is a delight. It may have a lot of power, but it's got a limited slip diff to help keep things in order, as well as brake torque vectoring. And the car wasn't as unruly as I was expecting. Mind you, if you're feeling brave and you've got the right conditions, you can always select the track mode to make things more interesting. There's also launch control if you need a fast getaway, and large Brembo brakes for when you need to slow down.
The brakes have got a good amount of bite to them, and the stopping power is very good. I like the feedback that the pedal gives me. It definitely inspires a lot of confidence. And I'll tell you one thing I love, when you look out the rear, you just see a massive carbon fibre rear spoiler. Yes, that's a view I could get used to.
It's a good thing it's got a sprinkling of carbon fibre, as the VXR8 is certainly a bit of a lump as it weighs almost 1900 kilos. You can definitely feel the weight in the corners, although I never felt like I had to drag the car around or that it needed to be manhandled. There is a little bit of body roll though, and it's not quite as sharp as German rivals, but once that V8 starts to bellow, I doubt you'll care much.
It's a bit brisk.
Despite its blistering pace, the VXR8 GTS-R is far from what you would call impractical. The inside has got a few decent cubby holes, the rear space is pretty decent even for a taller person like me, I'm 6'2" in case you are wondering, and the boot is able to boast 496 litres. So if you really wanted to, you could drive this car daily, but you would have to put up with a combined MPG of just 18, so there's a very good chance you will get to know the staff at your local petrol garage very well.
Now, I assume a lot of you think that the VXR is dead, and to be honest, so did I. Well, it is dead, but only for the time being. Vauxhall have said today, when I was at the presentation, they said that VXR will make a comeback, but it will be a different kind of beast. Obviously, Vauxhall is owned by Group PSA now. Therefore, when VXR does return, I imagine it will be a different kind of entity as to what this is. I imagine the cars won't be quite as raucous, they'll be a bit more refined, which is a bit of a shame because I like this. Yeah, it's not perfect, and for what it is quite expensive, but it's interesting. It's got character, it's got a heart, it's got a soul. So in my limited time with this car, I must say I've really enjoyed it, and I wasn't expecting to drive this car. I was aiming to drive a different car with Vauxhall, but this one happened to be laying about, so I thought, oh, well, I suppose I'll give that a go. But frankly, it'd be rude not to. So my short time with this car is sadly pretty much over, and boy has it been a blast. Anyway, time for me to end. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.